Greetings, fellow traders. Bubblehead here, and it's time for the lunchtime market update for Tuesday, April 21st, 2020. I hope everybody's having a good trading day today. This is brought to you by Positive Trends Research, and everything we're going to talk about is for educational purposes only and not investment advice. So please take a moment to review this disclaimer. Awesome. All right, let's check and see where we are in the market here today. So here's the monthly chart on the SPX. Rejected the mid-Bollinger Band here on the monthly. So down 84 points so far today. Big move down. We were only gapping down 50. Then we pushed up a little bit at the open for a to tag the mid-Bollinger Band here on the monthly, and then we pulled back, right? And now we're back down 84 points. So it's like one step forward, two steps back right now, right? So it's like we said, there's still time left in the month. So this monthly candle is not done yet, as bullish as it was been looking. So weekly chart, right? We had some nice follow through here off of the bullish engulfing candle, right? We haven't quite been able to fill that gap on the weekly. Now we're just we're trickling down here, on the SPX on the weekly, and we're still below that 30 weekly moving average, that change of composure line. Now here's the big one. Here's the kicker. Right, so we gapped down today, basically right at the upward trend line. So the bulls really needed to defend that one today. So once we lost that today, that's where we started looking for short setups intraday, because it's like, okay, we were bullish until proven otherwise, and now they're proven otherwise, right? And so now we just have to see how this closes today. It should be very interesting. We're right at the 21 EMA right here on the daily chart on SPX. Let's take a look at the SPY. Okay, SPY also obviously breaking down below its upward trend line too, below its 50 moving average, below its 8 moving average right now, which is curling down, and you're at the 21 EMA right now. So let's take a look at the intraday price action. So this is what they did, right? So they push it down this morning, right? And then they looked like they were trying to buy the dip this morning. So very, very scalpy stuff this morning. We talked about look, we couldn't even break over those highs right there. We talked about a quick 15-hour burst this morning, and that's all we got. Right, big selling pressure in this area, and then you had this inside 15, which brought us down today. Okay, so we had a couple nice moves, a couple nice setups here today. We had some geometric levels right here, right, from the pre-market levels. So we got a nice opportunity here, and then once we broke down, we got a nice short here. Once we broke down through the 15-hour below, right, and that pushed us down really nicely to the low of the day. And now it's trying to recover a little bit here. So let's take a look at the S&P futures and kind of see how that set up into the day, right? So we talked about this in the morning video, right? So triangle here, breakdown, and look, this is the macro trend line right here. If we lose that macro trend line, right, it starts to get bearish on the shorter term time frame. You can see we pivoted right here pre-market, which ended up giving essentially that 15-hour below. And once we broke down below those levels, just gave a nice push to the downside here, right? So so we're still bearish. They're trying to recover a little bit. It's got a lot of work to do to try to get back up there. Same thing with the micros. Okay. So good stuff there. Good, and then obviously one of the ones that's been pretty heavy on the market has been oil. Right, so just a nasty down move overnight, and then into the open. Huge volume last night. They tried to recover it a little bit, like kind of a little bit of a Morningstar reversal type setup right there. They pushed a little bit off, and then they couldn't hold it. Right, so oil is looking really rough here. USO has been. Goodness gracious, it was halted this morning, right, from trading this morning from all the crazy volatility, and then they tried to push it up a little bit this morning, then it came back down again too. So also, I believe some news about kind of just delisting this fund. So just be careful with that one if you're planning on swinging it for any long period of time. Apple, one of the first ones to break down this morning. This is a very, very powerful move because you saw, right, this is one of the keys, right? Apple is weighted on everything, right? It's in the Nasdaq, it's in the S&P, and it's on the Dow. Right, so when you see Apple here this morning trying to give that type of rally into the open and just failed instantly, right? Remember how the S&P was kind of up here with its inside 15? Well, look where Apple was. This shows that there's some weak sentiment right here. You had an inside 15 here, which finally broke that 15 orb down, right? And this is something that we've been looking at too on Apple, right? You had an upper shadow yesterday, right? We finally broke down back below these levels here as we pushed below the macro trend line today, and then pushed down even farther. So upper shadow here at the cloud, right? We ran into a lot of resistance off of that. Okay. Tesla gave a quick little pop this morning, then down 50 points. So it's basically right below that bump line from the bump and run line. And so you can see here what it did today. It gave a quick little 15-hour pop, and that was it. And it really flushed after that today. Twitter is one that we pointed out on the live stream this morning. That it was bearish. This was bearish early, before everything else, before Apple. right? So this was Apple gave you that inside 15 right there. This one broke down below the 15 orb earlier. This got some nice follow through the downside on Twitter today. Same with MU. One of our members pointed it out this morning. We got a couple other ones in the chart request too that we're going to take a look at. But MU is on the radar this morning as well, and that gave a nice move down here. It looks like it tagged a prior fib level there too. And then NVIDIA. NVIDIA is very similar as well. So these semis got hit really early along with Apple. Double inside 15 at the 15 orb low this morning on NVIDIA, right, for a nice breakdown on that. So you go here to the daily chart, right? We had that gravestone doji, that southern doji yesterday. We were still holding the trend line, but when you gap below a macro trend line, right, expect some downside movement, right? So we came back, we tested the prior trend line right here and the cloud, and we're at the 21 EMA. So let's see how NVIDIA holds at those levels. So a couple chart requests out there. Appreciate everybody for sending those in. Shop. Whoa! Bearish engulfing candle so far, guys. That's super duper bearish. Now, we haven't finished the day yet, but look at that volume, right? Fresh all-time high today, and then it's like, I'm done, right? I mean, that's amazing move right there. I mean, if you just look at it, just incredible stuff. So keep an eye on Shop. See how it closes today. It might want some more downside follow-through on that one. Match.com. This is a good idea. I like this one here. This is a lot of people are at home quarantined, so maybe they're using Match.com to try to meet some people for when they're done off of quarantine. But ultimately, I don't look at that type of information. I like the trend lines, right, and the technical data. So here we are. I do appreciate the concept though, right? So it came back down, right? So we're just basically tagging this trend line right now. We're over the 200-day moving average. So let's see if we can hold that. And but we are still bullish until proven otherwise. Just watch for a breakdown below that trend line. Very, very important. Okay, let's take a look at work. So work, guys, we talked about this the last 2 nights on the live streams, right? It was looking like it was setting like an inverse head and shoulders right here. But you can't get long on it until it confirms above it, right? It never did. Just upper shadow, upper shadow, upper shadow, upper shadow, and then another upper shadow today with almost a full bearish engulfing candle today. So just keep an eye on that one. Overall, pretty weak. I mean, it did bounce a little bit off the lows. AMD, like we mentioned earlier, nice move here. Lots of upper shadows here. Just didn't have any strength to get to the all-time highs, right? And this was one of the ones that we mentioned in the live stream this morning that was breaking down early. It gave a real quick pop to the upside, right? Gave your 60 anchor pop, then it came back down below the 60 anchor, retested it, and then just flushed through the 15 orb low and gave a great move down on AMD. We pointed that out on the live stream this morning. Netflix, again, double inside 15 down. Just keep an eye on Netflix as it's got earnings coming up tonight. So really, really important day for Netflix, right? Bearish engulfing candle right here. So if it gaps above, 450, we might see a gap and go tomorrow. Otherwise, it might gap down and retest a trend line. But be careful with Netflix if you're planning on playing it through earnings. We don't like to trade earnings because they're too risky, unless you have some profit to go through with it to handle a pullback. Also keep in mind Netflix could be really choppy after earnings. We've seen that before, so just be careful with that. Netflix is notorious for doing that and really just chopping everybody out before moving a couple days later. And then last one, BMY. Again, upper shadow yesterday could, basically filled, tagged the prior inside day levels. Looked like it's maybe kind of starting to work on a cup and handle type pattern, so let's let that continue to work itself out. So good stuff, guys. I hope everybody has a great rest of your trading day. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys at the market wrap and hopefully tonight on the live stream. And stay healthy out there. Remember your risk first and stay safe so you can stay in the game. And I'll talk to you soon.